Welcome back to the session on benchmarking, Model 3 Corporate Strategy. In the previous session, I spoke about benchmarking, what is meant by benchmarking, what are the different types of benchmarking. There we spoke about strategic benchmarking, performance benchmarking and process benchmarking. I also gave an example of an automobile two-wheeler, how a one two-wheeler which is quality wise, design wise is better off but cost wise higher, highly priced compared to a competing price. So, in the process benchmarking, as a company they try to see what is that component which adds more higher cost. So, that the company can work on the cost, work on those attributes which are highly priced and try to reduce the cost of that particular resource or try to find out the alternative so that the overall pricing of the product can be on par with the industry firms. That was about the three different types of benchmarking we spoke about, I spoke about. In today's session, we will be seeing about different approaches of benchmarking. The schematic diagram clearly shows internal, competitive, external, functional and generic. The word itself is very clear what approaches it talks about. So, in the slide we will be seeing across internal benchmarking is used to compare the work of separate teams. Team A, Team B, Team C, Team 3. They have been given different activities or maybe a particular model and they try to see units or divisions to identify the ones that are working better, share the knowledge throughout the company to the other teams to achieve higher performance. So, in an organization or in anything, and basically it is observed that as the individuals we are very good. The employees as individuals are good. But in certain situations, when the employees come together as a team, their performance can be better off or their performance can be less also. There can be a synergetic higher effect or there can be a lesser effect also. Coordinating within the team and seeing the meeting or working towards the common goal and objective with the opinion of differences, conflicts, where the performance of the team, if one person does not contribute, the entire performance of the team will pull down. So, there here in the internal benchmarking, here they compare the works of separate teams and they try to see the to identify the ones that are working better than and share the knowledge throughout the company with the other achieving higher performance. If we take as a whole one particular activity, as for example, in the software development, there may be a coding team, texting team, developing team. So, each team in the case of in the coding team, if one particular person they assign different modules, one module there is some bug or error, the entire coding does not take place. The entire performance of the team may not be in a position to perform as designed. So, that is what it talks about. So, just an example. So, external or competitive benchmarking. External benchmarking looks at both inside and outside the industry to find the best practices. So, where your best practices, thus including competitive benchmarking. So, competitive benchmarking refers to the process when a company compares itself to its with the competitors inside its industry. So, competitive external where here looks both inside and outside the industry to find the best practices. So, it is where competitive benchmarking refers to the process when a company compares itself with the competitors inside its industry. For example, in the case of your mobile networks, there are different networks available, Jio, Airtel or BSNL. So, there you can find the network connectivity of one particular company may be highly good compared to the other one, but they say what are the things, what are the best practices opted by XYZ company, telecom industry to give a good customer service. There you can find competitive benchmarking can be taken care. The third one we talk about is the functional benchmarking. Functional departments find it is useful to analyze how well their functional areas perform compared to the functional areas of other companies. The functional areas, as I am again telling, it is 5 M's. Marketing and sales department; men, human resources and personnel department; materials and machinery, productions and inventory on maintenance combination department. You have money, it is a finance and accounting department. Then you have management, it's a board of directors, team of the people, stakeholders of the organization. So all this department, you talk about the different functional areas or finance, HR, marketing, production, and certain other areas where they need to perform compared to that of their competitors' company, that is functional benchmarking. So it is easy to identify the best marketing, finance, human resources or operations department in other companies that excel in what they do and do apply the practices to their own functional areas. What are the marketing strategy adopted by the company to create awareness, promotional strategy, product strategy. How is their product? Maybe both the industries are providing the same product, but what is so unique about one particular industry's product compared to their competitive industry's product? For example, coffee powder. There is instant coffee powder provided by one industry manufacturing, there is another instant coffee powder provided by B. But why the person prefers, a customer prefers a company? What are the activities adopted by the production department of A company, so which enhances their output, which is there found that the output is much better off compared to the output of the competitive company is much better compared to their own firms. How is their work schedule assigned? How is the shifts have been taken care? Do they have grand chart or a workflow model? If anything uncertainty happens, how do they manage the unexpected situations? All this, so that has an impact on the production process. So that is what functional benchmarking talks about. So generic benchmarking, it refers to comparison which focuses on excellent work progress rather than on best practices of a particular organization. In what way the excellent work can be achieved compared to that of a particular particular organization's business practices. So this was about the approaches to benchmarking. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of benchmarking taken from external source. So advantages easy to understand and use, where it is we can talk about the thing is, when you talk about the benchmarking, you talk about is when you talk about benchmarking, it is very what you say is it's easy to understand and use. If done properly, it leads to a low cost activity that offers huge gain. So as it is told, where it brings innovative ideas to the company. The benchmarking provides insight of how other companies organize their operations and process in terms of performance and process types of benchmarking we have seen, and also it increases awareness of the cost of the firm and the level of the performance as compared to that of their competitors. Facilitates cooperation between the teams, units and divisions, where internal approaches or in terms of competitive approach or external approach, how they have been much better off their competitors could be seen, so that their performance of the company can be enhanced and seen better off. But at the same time, there is a disadvantage of benchmarking also. As benchmarking, according to Xerox Corporation, which has told that the benchmarking speaks about benchmarking is nothing, it talks about is a continual process of measuring products, services and practices against the toughest competitor to those companies recognized as industrial leaders. So benchmark it is a continuous process of measuring. It says product, services and practices to that of the toughest competitor who is excelling in the business. So that's what the benchmarking is, a method of involving recognizing the best practices in terms of products, procedures, responsible for creation and delivery of the product. So, all over the world, the managers dealing with quality and commitment in the organization are focusing on benchmarking, which involves comparing performance of the organization to carry out a particular task with that of the rivals organization or the competitors organization with similar things. So, you can see that since the value chain is also talking about, that is where we spoke about the primary activities and supporting activities. So, structure of internal analysis, where usually manager focuses on systematic procedure for benchmarking, ensuring that constant enhancement of a particular activity. So, the ultimate concept of benchmarking is to identify the best practice in the performance of an activity, find out the way that's lower, in the way you can decrease or lower the cost, decrease the defects and result associated with excellent performance. So, that was the benefit or advantage of having a benchmarking adopted in an organization or followed in a firm. At the same time, you have a disadvantage. If you are a monopolistic holder, if you are the whole and sole person in the industry, then where do you find a benchmarking partner? What is there to compare? Olympic athletics. So, you yourself, for example, there it has become tedious. An Olympic athletic compares himself with on the track event of 100 meters distance covered by some other Olympic athlete. A second holder, a second person rank or a winner compares with the first winner of the Olympic. So, he tries to keep the first winner as a benchmarking. So, if he himself is a first winner, then maybe can the time taken to cover that 100 meters in how many seconds? How can it be reduced? What work has to be done, or in what way improvisation can be done can be seen. But when we talk about the benchmarking, finding a benchmarking partner is needed. So, if something impossible to assign a metrics to measure a progress, sometimes it might be you need to hire a consultant also, which can be a costly work. So, organizations may not be experienced as the initial cost may be huge. So, there may be it can be a challenging to have a benchmarking. Managers often resist the change that are required to improve the performance, and some of the best practices won't be applicable. Whatever the best practices which is adopted in one firm, then cannot be put for the entire organization. So, there it is not possible to implement that best practices for the old organization. These are some of the demerits or disadvantage of having a benchmarking. So, but irrespective of that, benchmarking helps in overall improvement of the organization. As we can say, benchmarking identifies objectives. It helps in so benchmarking helps in identifying the opportunities. So, benchmarking helps organization identify performance gaps and areas for improvement by comparing their performance against the industry standards or best practices or the competitors. So, benchmarking provides a valuable insight into which the organization stands relative to its peers and where it can focus its efforts to improve the performance. So, it is essential for performance improvement. One is identifying opportunities. Second is learning from best practices. So, we always try to take the positive thing from our competitor. From the firm should take a positive aspect, the best practices from their competitors. This is learning from best practices. So, benchmarking allows the organization to learn from industry leaders and top performers by studying their process, strategies and practices, by which understanding how leading organizations achieve success, organizations can adopt and adapt best practices to improve their own performance and competitiveness. So, learning from best practices. Similarly, in the third we talk about setting targets. Benchmark enables organization to set realistic achievable targets based on the industry benchmarks and best practices. So, by benchmarking against the top performers, organizations can establish or can stretch goals and targets that drive continuous improvement and innovation across their organizations. So, that could be seen. And it benchmarking, as the very word itself says, it drives continuous improvement. So, benchmarking is a catalyst for continuous improvement by providing a structured framework for measuring, monitoring and enhancing performance over a period of time. So, it fosters a culture of learning, innovation and excellence by encouraging organization to continuously strive for higher level of performance and competitiveness. So, these are the four major importance of benchmarking one can come across. One is identifying opportunities, then learning from best practices, setting targets and driving continuous improvement. So, the ultimate goal of the business should be to grow, improve process, increase quality, decrease cost, earn profit. So, in that terms, benchmarking is one of the many tools we saw with respect to in the model 3 which spoke about internal assessment, key internal forces, SWOT analysis. We spoke about RBV, resource based value of the firm. We spoke about value chain analysis, balance scorecard. So, all these are the tools, but benchmarking is one among the many tools that can be used as a part of many continuous improvement model within the organization. So, consistency in having benchmark can help in improving process and techniques. One thing, it is a gauge effectiveness of the past performance. Where are you now? Where do you want to go? How do you continuously improve so that you can reach the destination at the faster rate? So, this can not only make the performance of the company increase, but also the profitability of an organization in terms of tangible and intangible, but it also can be seen a growth. Then give a better idea of how competitors operate. When you try to see others, who are these others? Are nothing but the competing firm. When there are some positive aspect, best practices adopted by the competing firm can be adopted by the firm or can be taken by a company so that the company's performance in turn can be improved. So, which will help the company to identify best practices to increase their own company's performance. Increased efficiency and lower cost makes the business more profitable. So, when you identify a product or service, quality of a product and the design of the product is good, but the pricing of the product is high of a firm, means then the company can compare itself with the competitor's product, where similar competitors companies product and process, and see where it can, the firm can reduce and work on the cost, where it can try to reduce and decrease the wastage and duplicacy of the work can be decreased. So, benchmarking gives improved quality and customer satisfaction. So, that could be seen. So, finally, we can see that the benchmarking helps in not only in terms of achieving the setting targets, learning from industry leaders. Benchmarking also involves two main strategies. One is setting targets and learning from industry leaders. So, organizations use benchmarking to set performance targets and goals based on industry benchmarks, best practices, competitors' performance. By benchmarking against the top performers, organizations can establish ambitious yet achievable target that drive the performance improvement and innovation. So, setting targets provides a clear direction, helps you to move in a particular directions for improvement efforts, and also helps align organizational effects with the strategic objectives. And also benchmarking, where you learn from the industry levels. So, benchmarking enables organizations to learn from the industry leaders and top performers by studying their issue process, strategies and their performance practices. organization can conduct an external benchmarking to compare their performance against the leading organization's performance. So, in terms of their types, in terms of their approaches, an organization can compare itself with the competitive organization or maybe the industry leaders who are performing in that particular sector, so that the identify the and they can identify, the firm can identify the opportunities for improvement. By studying the best practices and success stories, organizations can gain insights into how top performers achieve success and apply those lessons to improve their own performance and competitiveness. So, benchmarking is where you try to improvise on the company's performance in terms of product, in terms of process, in terms of their strategy, by seeing your top leaders who is there in the business and working on your own deficiency, improvising on day to day and continuous learning can make the firm, wherever it has a lacuna, can himself make it or itself to be on par with the competitors. So, the benchmarking can have a both in terms of assessment, can be terms in terms of quantifiable and qualifiable, it can be done. So, the overall it says that benchmarking is nothing but comparing firms' performance standards and business process with that which are the best practices in the same industry or the best standards in other industries is known as benchmarking. So, if you could see, there are a couple of the references for this particular whatever the preparing of the slides. The references I've taken from the recommended referred textbook as per the syllabus course has been provided. So, I think as a print is all India. Then we talk about the crafting and execution of strategy and concepts and cases by Arthur Thompson. Then we have taken it from the different other textbook. One of the book I have authored couple of chapters in the strategic management book been published by JE Publications, and also certain other national publishing house textbooks have been referred, and information have been taken through various sources, internet, YouTube links, and also from Google. Today, see, information is something which a person, it should be, but that's, as a teacher I feel that information should be departed. It should not be just constrained to syllabus. Syllabus component has been covered as a part of your model 3. All the components of your benchmarking, or where as a model 3 there are 7 different components which we have spoken about: internal assessment, key internal factors. We spoke about in this model, we have spoken about the resource based value of the firm, spoken about value chain analysis of the firm, then SWOT analysis, balance scorecard, benchmarking. But if you could see, the components is nowhere it is restricted. It is one particular concept which has been given. So, in the different perspectives, apart from what has been provided in the recommended text and the textbooks referred in the syllabus, additional informations have been taken from various other sources for the understanding of the concept and for the knowledge improvement, and also better clarity on the topic has been provided in this module 3, which is related to corporate strategy. So, this was about it. For this particular links, certain there is a YouTube link actually I would like to run. So, there are a couple of the YouTube links are there. Please go back and try to see this YouTube links which has been provided in your syllabus. Couple of them are really which adds on, because there is a practical exposure is being given in this, and in this, and it is used, this links are used only for the been used for the purpose of the educational purpose only, and they may be used, there are certain copyrights also, but in this links, if we go back and see, there is one particular link which I found it interesting, was YouTube link on talked about by Michael Porter. This particular link, youtube.com watch. On this, the Michael E. Porter has spoken about the value chain analysis. These two links were the entire corporate management model. In the model 1, I told it's been summarized as a chart. As a strategic management model, the entire subject as SMS has been summarized in a chart. These two links is also very fine, nice, just whatever the information available, it's for the betterment of the individual, for understanding purpose. The ideas of many writers and speakers are used in this presentation for the purpose of preparing this material interaction with the faculty members, textbooks, various sources, and interaction with the company people also is being used with my own experience as a executive corporate sales, where I had visited certain companies and found there's certain process which has been quoted as an example for the purpose of making the concept clear and understanding. For that particular purpose, those information has been shared as an example, and this was all about your Model 3 corporate strategy. Apart from this, just one glimpse I would like to share here is this what I was telling you, the benchmarking strategy. Are the 3 types of benchmarking you can come across: strategy benchmarking, process benchmarking, and performance benchmarking. This was one particular YouTube link which has been shared in the shared in the syllabus. So if you get time, please, I would suggest you, whoever is viewing this sessions can go back on this keynote on strategy by Michael Porter, professor from Harvard Business School, beautifully explained about value chain analysis and inculcating and identifying the factors of value chain analysis. So this particular, how about the Porter's model and value chain is very been
and this idea called the value chain is a way of mapping what operation in this industry looks like. And this slide is just an example in the telecom, make that network efficient. So you get. If we're going to be in the auto industry, there's a lot of things we.
So this is was about it.
Just to be a good auto.
So if the students whoever is viewing this slides or thing, please go back, make yourself free. Apart from the concept, whatever we have provided in the session or whatever I have provided in this recording session is theoretical perspective with some practical exposure also. At the same time, it would be advisable for the student to visit any one of the manufacturing unit to have a better understanding this key concepts. It is better to visit an organization, especially a manufacturing unit and a service oriented organization, and have a clear understanding about this concept which has been discussed in module 3 of corporate strategy. So this was about the model 3, about the different concepts which shown here. Myself, Dr. Pankajakshi, Associate Professor from Vishweshwaraya Technological University, Center for Postgraduate Studies, Mudenalli, Chikbalapur District. I have been a brief view about Module 3. For any information, maybe the person was saying will come back on interactive sessions, or you can write back to us on if any suggestions are. If there is any queries also, we would think can be, you can see this, all the slides, videos or sessions could be seen, and have a practical exposure. The theoretical concepts have been delivered here. Practical exposure to this concept will give a better understanding of the topic much better. This was on Module 3. Thank you.